Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hazmat Hard Podcast, Industrial Strength Podcast. It's a podcast that focuses on industrial responders, industrial fire departments, industrial hazmat teams. My name is Randy. I am a member of industrial fire department and been on 18 years, primarily doing hazmat. Currently a hazmat specialist. With me are two of my buddies, Jeff and Steve.
I'm Jeff. The other asshole is Steve.
Takes one to know one, buddy.
Yep.
Well, excellent intros, fellas. Let's get into it then. Okay. So, Steve, what are we talking about today?
Kelly.
So today we're going to be talking about
Friends like these.
Yes. With friends like these, who needs them?
Oh my gosh.
Right now.
Who needs enemies with friends like these? Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about the incident command system and its minimal functional rules for every call.
Kelly.
It's kind of came up within our own unit a few times of we've learned not everyone necessarily knows all the rules or even what rules are required for each call. And
that's a great point. Yeah.
And for the majority of our calls, I would say we're on a smaller scale, so we don't need to branch out as much, but there are still some minimum requirements that you have to do each time.
Right. I think this is a great refresher because I know not every industrial team is like a full-on fire department, right? So you have some... I know there's some industrial teams that are just hazmat teams, right? We have some people on our team that just do hazmat or just do medical. They don't know how ICS works. It makes it difficult when we have a larger scale call that actually requires it. So I think, Steve, this is a great point to bring up because not everyone might be familiar with how it works and why it was or why it needs.
Yep.
All right, so Steven, let's dive into it.
All right. So first and foremost, the most important role that's got to be staffed, no matter what the size of the call is the incident commander. Doesn't matter if you're showing up for a simple odor investigation or if you've got a full-on spill going on that you need multiple groups to come in and contain, you're still going to need that IC.
So an odor investigation, that would include dry traps after a tornado in a high volume facility or ammonia leak, high alarm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could in a chiller, yes.
Weird, but yeah.
Yes. Things sometimes happen, friend.
Mm-hmm. It could also involve, natural gas smells they claim that just happen to be from a thermal oxidizer that gives off natural gas in the process. So if the wind's blowing correctly, you will smell it.
Or a broken 2-inch natural gas line that's bubbling up through the ground in December.
Oh, that one too, but or a skunk.
Or a skunk. Right?
Yes.
If someone thinks it's natural gas.
That one only leads to flat tires, apparently.
Right. Those are also excellent things that require incident commanders.
Yes. Yep.
And speaking of the incident commanders.
So, Steve,
that
the incident command is a crucial role, right? Sits on top. He's like the capstone of everything, keeps it together. But what does that IC do?
So they hold the overall responsibility for managing the incident, setting up the strategy, establishing the objectives for the call, and ensuring safe and effectiveness in the resolution of that call. Okay. Now, they're not necessarily doing the hands-on portion of every single part of that, but they're the one that's responsible for the overall scene. So their detailed responsibilities kind of include establishing, announcing, and maintaining the command, which is very important so everyone knows who they're reporting to.
Yep.
Conducting initial and ongoing size-ups to determine the incident strategies. Establishing incident priorities, whether it be life safety, incident stabilization, property conservation. Developing and approving incident action plans or verbal objectives. Assigning command staff and section chiefs as needed, depending on the size of the call. Managing resources and approving ordering demobilization of the call. Ensuring responder safety, accountability, and risk management. Coordinating with external agencies if needed in other jurisdictions on a larger scale call. Authorizing public information and media releases, which technically usually doesn't happen with the industrial side of things, at least in our instance.
I know nothing.
Right. For us, it's not a thing, but I think for other agents, it might be more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it might be, but you still don't know nothing.
No comment.
Right. We don't exercise that one too.
And ensuring documentation and post-incident requirements are all met.
I think one of the other things you talked about reporting responsibilities, working with outside jurisdictions. Well, it may not be an outside jurisdiction. I know, like, one thing, it might be a big thing for an industrial hazmat team is coordinating with the business. So, like, if it's a major incident for the business, might need to have a couple business leaders or site leaders, something involved too. Might have to be somewhere in huddle nearby it.
Correct. I agree with that one. Another aspect of that might be more maybe some of the medical too. You might need to have more medical than just your medical team. So
you might.
It might be your local ambulance.
True, that might be worth stating. Right, or emergency might have if it's a mass casualty. Have the research.
Yep.
Sorry, Steve. It was just a segue about the business continuity side of things.
No, I absolutely agree. It's not something that you typically deal with on the municipality side of things,
right.
But in an industrial field, at least in our site, that's a key component to the incident commander.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how other industrial teams deal with it. They might have someone dedicated to that at all times. It doesn't necessarily fall under the IC role, but for us, it's typically scene by scene basis, coordinated through the IC.
I know, and this is like behind the curtain stuff. People, I know for a while, every page that our team got, leaders got, like our site got, that became a problem because we had a bunch of going up when it.
Oh, going back to Looky Loos, yeah.
And
we haven't had any episodes on that one.
Yeah. So then that changed the practice. Now we don't inform them as quickly as our team, and we bring them in as needed if it's a major business issue.
Well, let's not sugarcoat it. They're still going to be there. They're going to know instantly.
But we don't typically invite them on.
Yeah, we don't send that mass.
Keep them back. Yeah, we do keep them back.
We don't send that mass informative page out to them until usually when the call's done now, so that they know, hey, you had members of your team that might have been at this call. There was a reason.
Oh, they already know it.
There's like usually the next day our chief gets called in the mat. They ask him.
Oh, he's getting calls instantly.
Oh, he is. There's no two ways about it. Friends of friends let friends know.
I don't know about friends of friends, I guess.
Okay, people let people know.
Yeah.
You can't find them.
All right.
But anyway, so
we kind of covered the IC's responsibilities, but in a bigger aspect, who do they report to?
The IC?
Yeah.
Boy, so like
that's a good question, but yeah.
For our team, boss, which sounds weird because on an outside agency, it would be like city council or government entity, but for us, our chief's got a boss.
Yep.
Kind of who it goes to. So
Yep.
the boss has got a boss, and the boss has got a boss, and just kind of one of the weird times that shit flows uphill instead of downhill.
The shit always still flows downhill. That's not.
Yeah, it comes back down.
Yeah.
And then who do they have report to them?
I know. See, that's the better question, right? So the other roles for not just
it isn't.
He approves a bunch of stuff, but there's some delegation of hands-on duties that.
But keep in mind, during a major event, think about who's going to find out. We are a private entity, but people do talk.
Oh yeah,
and that news is going to find out And even
That's
though we
big
are
of
a
a-
private entity, news is going to find out, and they're going to want information.
Agreed. Right, so that's just how news works. If we can't contain,
Yep. So
good enough job. Yeah.
you still have to have kind of like a public information officer.
Yes.
You're
that's
still
a
going to have
big
to
thing.
address the address the news. You can't just disregard them.
That's another important thing because that might not be a member of our department. 'Cause
Nope.
that might actually just be someone in HR or actual stations. If companies got that, it'll be a person thing.
Or even it could be a public information officer within your site, right?
Right. Yeah.
Depending on the site, it depends on the site. Yeah.
That's an important thing to think about and have set up ahead of time. Trying to appoint that point
That'd
person
be
isn't-
paper, rock, scissors.
But that would be very rough to do, especially if you're trying to pick a person who's very well versed on giving a non-answer.
So that would rule out Steven and I.
What are you saying, that I can't sugarcoat the bullshit?
Yes,
You
I am.
can.
Exactly.
But here, your quotes are more TMZ, not Dateline. I'm just gonna call that around, brother.
that person.
Right.
Oh wait.
Oops.
So actually, yeah, the public information officer is one of the key members that reports directly to the IC. Amongst others,
And they do have to be well spoken.
yes. Amongst other roles, though, are probably one of the more important ones is the safety officer,
Yes.
Yep.
the operations section leader, or
Randy.
direct tactical supervisors. Yes. Which in most cases, Randy does both of those roles at the same time for us.
Except when he does pass that off to try to get suited up. I don't appreciate that one.
Sorry, man. I gotta grow you in a role. It just can't be me all the time. I need a couple backups.
I didn't hear any complaints the other night when he did it, so
Worked out well, friends. Man.
There's no complaints for me.
Oh, that's right. Somebody would have had to be there.
Yeah, I certainly was not there. I was in no condition to drive, so I
don't
made
blame
it better that way.
Downtime's precious.
But amongst other ones are liaisons with other agencies, report directly to the IC on scene, and then your planning, logistics, and financial leaders, if you have that within your structure.
And
that's actually going to be for like your larger incidences.
Just as a plug, like an old school plug, I know things have been revised, and we talked about how NFPA 470 revised the specialist role, but the old school specialist role, that was at liaison. Taught you how to deal with other governmental agencies.
It was.
Had to bring them
Yep.
in. So typically that role would have been your hazmat.
Yep. And then even on like the smaller calls, the IC may function as operations, accountability, and safety.
Mhm.
But you still need to have your duties that are clearly designed. I mean, we're talking about larger calls. You still have your smaller calls where you're going to have your officers doing several duties.
I agree with you, Jeff. Yeah, you're talking right to scalability.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
That's
So you
exactly.
are-
See, that's why Randy would be a great public information officer. Yeah.
I would, yes.
Because he knows the big words we don't.
I just
Exactly,
reframe the magic you're giving off, brother. So,
See, I can
Like you
give the
said.
bullshit and Randy would give that bullshit in to make it look clean and pretty and
I'll polish it, man. Polish it.
yeah. See, polish your turd.
Just like he
Right.
does us every day.
But yeah, you're right, man. So every call is scalable. So if it's a small call, you collapse a bunch of those roles maybe on one person. Like we talked about the operations section and tactical officer role. We said we collapse that all the time on our site. So you're right, Jeff. The bigger the call, the more you have to actually segregate that out and be individual roles for individual people. But on smaller calls, yeah, man, you might be wearing 5 roles.
Yeah.
How it is.
Well, those 5 roles are, I mean, they're key roles, but they're smaller in dynamic for that particular call.
Yes, I would agree.
Whereas
So-
if it was a larger call, you're not going to be able to do those 5 roles.
Right.
There's
It's
no
too
way you
much.
could do that.
So I think we pretty well covered the broad strokes of the IC role within this. But what's the second role that we have to have on every scene within those 5 mandatory roles?
Operation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually, like the second thing we pick an
That's usually the second thing. Yeah.
ops.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Randy, you're exactly right. So, operations. Why don't you go into more detail with that operations
Yeah, I'll run with that.
portion
So-
of it? Yeah.
Yeah. So operations. So for the operations role, they're responsible for the tactical execution of what the IC wants. So coming up on a hazmat call, and let's say it's a leak, the IC is going to come up with a broad plan. Hey, look, save lives. Let's mitigate the risk, and let's contain this, right? And then it comes down to the operations guy who then has to figure out, okay, this is what the IC wants in broad strokes. How are we going to refine this down? What are our attack plans to actually do those objectives? Right. So the objectives come from the IC. The operations guy puts those objectives into reality and gives directions and rules and staff's position. So typically you start with manpower resources, right? So they're the ones finding the resources to put into roles and get out the plan. So they're going to implement the objectives from the IC. So they're going to say, hey, look, okay, life safety, let's go downrange and a recon team. Let's go look. Do we have anyone downrange? Do we have any reports? Okay, cool. We got a leak. How are we going to mitigate this? What's our material? What's our PPE? What's our plan of attack? And then from there, the operations guy then starts breaking down people into core support teams. They're very important. So recon, decon, entry 1, entry 2, and we always staff RIT. RIT is a must. Got the people. Yep. RIT is a must. Do not go without a RIT.
So, Randy, all right. So we're talking about all these. I think we've kind of discussed this previously, but you're doing all this within what time frame? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yep.
It is quick. You got to be quick on your feet. It is dynamic because the situation changes. So I go from, I think we talked about this before. It might go from somewhere where it was a recon to a life safety grab and pull. Or it might go from someone who went on entry team 1 to mitigate a hazard. Now they have to back off because a hazard changed.
Yep.
So plans change, but you're right. The initial planning, scope of plan, staffing, where the setup all goes, first minute or two, I'll get set.
So I'm not going to call out any particular department. It happened to be a municipal department. They actually had a structure fire. They're, I'd say, 12 to 15 minutes in, they encountered issues. All right, so I'm not going to give it a lot of details. They're 10 to 12 minutes in. They had to call in for mutual aid for a RIT. They needed RIT. Obviously, they were short-staffed. 12 to 15 minutes in. Let that sink in a minute. I mean, you can't wait that long to know that you need a RIT. So with a municipal department, you're still, let's say, 5 minutes out. You already have at least 1 to 2 teams inside. At that time, RIT is, you still have it, let's say, 5 minutes out. You still have probably another, once you get on scene, 3 minutes to get set up? If that. I mean, or
You can be fast
3 to
and
5
wrong, but
minutes. Yeah.
that's a honest time frame. Out of their
Well, and that's the key thing right there. Is you say they were 12 to 15 minutes in before they even called for mutual aid.
Yep.
That's on scene time. That's not from the point that the page went out.
That is on scene time.
A little uncomfortable, especially when at that point. I know, I'm doing it wrong. Firefighting, you want to get to the fire, put it out quickly. Getting there through the seat of the fire with a hose out. Phenomenal, man. Catch it early, you're winning the battle. Everything looks.
Again, this is municipal. This is not us. However, it's still kind of the same setup. You could have that where you have a team going downstream, but you don't have that writ established. So the question is do you send a team in without a writ established?
I don't like it. The way it looks.
I don't like it either. If it smells like something, it probably is something.
We're very lucky in the fact that we have not run across that.
But there may be facilities out there that have, and ours is pretty well established.
Yeah.
Other people may not have that luxury.
Agreed. But at that point, it's just that's really math. Say that on someone's life, not the value.
So let's put it this way: you're taking some dice and you're rolling it.
That's
snake eyes.
Right.
Shit.
I would be very uncomfortable working in that group because it kind of goes back to the phrase "expect a self-rescue," right?
Yep.
And that's not great because it doesn't build team cohesiveness. It's hard to say if the company doesn't have your back like that in an emergency situation. What does that look like? Does that look
but
like?
I also think of, again, municipal. Weather conditions here last few days were iffy. There's a major incident in the area. I'm not sure if everyone's, or if either of you two have heard about it. You had a tanker truck, or a box truck that had several chemicals that were mixed and got crashed into. It closed down a major interstate for several hours, I believe, 8 hours, while they let that shit burn. Just me, but I pay attention to the news. Sorry.
I'm playing devil's advocate. Guys, going back to the.
Yeah, fair enough.
Might be one of those things where not specifically outlined the best practice.
It has, and right. So I think we've
beaten that.
Killed the horse and buried it.
Right, yeah, that was a heck of a tangent, but a good one. Right, it's a good conversation any day. But once again, staffing. So let's circle all the way back, man. Operations. Your operations guy is setting up your people, staffing the roles that are critical. So recon, decon, entry 1, entry 2, RIT. Those are critical things that your operations guy wants to do. Wants to get those roles filled, wants to take those objectives, turn them into reality by giving a legit game plan, and putting function to that game plan. PPE, meters, paper, tools. So he's going to come up with a plan. Here's the important part too. Just because the ops guy comes up with a plan, everyone has to agree with it. Not just the ops guy says, everyone does. This is a team board. The ops guy comes up with what he thinks will be a good plan, and then gives everyone the plan. And then, for our experience, we talk about it. This is my thoughts. What do you guys think? You comfortable? Is there a better way of doing it? We shop it together. We don't move until it's agreed on by everyone and everyone's good with it.
And I can say, when Randy's been ops, we have changed from what Randy's wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, 'cause
And-
by all means, man, it's a team sport. If people like a different option, I'm good with that, man. As long as it doesn't put anyone in harm's way, cool.
As long as you can explain it.
And that's the biggest thing to me is if you're sending somebody inside to mitigate the situation, they should feel comfortable in what the plan is and what you're doing. If they don't feel comfortable with it, they're not going to execute it the way that it's planned.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah, and that's going to introduce chaos, a little bit of, I'm going to just say risk. I don't know what my partner's doing, what the plan was agreed.
Yep.
Bad times, but that's why we all agree on it. And then when we do, then we put out the marching order. But that ops guy is important, right? So once again, he puts tools and tech, people in roles, comes up with a plan, and then we all talk about it. Once it's agreed on, then it moves on. But that ops guy reports to the incident command. Once he comes up with a plan and it's all agreed upon, he reports that back up to the IC. Hey, look, this is what we're planning on doing. The way we want to do it. The PPE, our leaders, and the IC kind of is another check on that. Okay, yeah, that all makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I like it. Or let's call in another resource for XYZ. Let me get you this resource coming too.
Yep.
It may not be an alteration plan. It might just be, oh, okay, you guys are going to overpack and you're using vermiculite. Let me get you a couple more bags of vermiculite. We may not need it, but we have it on hand.
Yeah. Now that leads into our next role too, though.
Oh,
As safety officer.
yes. Okay, you want to jump on that one, Jeff?
Sure. They look at the hazards, monitoring conditions, even enforcing the safety conditions, safety practices. They see something that isn't right, they can halt it. Preventing, I guess our main goal is preventing injury and death.
Yes.
They have the authority to stop any unsafe acts.
Yes. And I
You
can
know,
honestly say we've done this role better in the last year than last year. Really better job at.
and I'll tell you what, I've been safety officer several calls,
Mhm.
and that's stressful.
Mhm.
Even the
It
minor
is.
calls, it's really, really stressful.
I have to say it's a thankless job because I have to make sure you don't have tunnel vision on that.
Yeah,
You have to,
you're looking at everything.
Yes. Sometimes it's hard to just keep that wide angle lens view of everything.
Well,
Think
and
about
you
all
also
that
have to have a broader knowledge than some of the other roles do, too. I mean, you
Yep.
think about the description, things like monitoring usage of PPE. That seems
Yeah.
pretty simple. But
It isn't.
you got to know
No.
what PPE is needed for that particular chemical you're dealing with and how it's going to react and what your exposure times are and everything else.
And actually, I mean, really, you're relying on a lot of information higher up, but safety officer sucks. I don't like it.
Yeah. I can see how
I'm going to be very blamed. I don't like it. I like it, but I don't.
it's an uneasy feeling, right? Because there's a lot resting on your shoulders. Because if the unknown happens to occur, everything's like, why didn't you get that? Why didn't you see that?
Right.
That's
But you have to be on top of
it.
it saying, oh, I caught that. However, I chose this because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Or I didn't catch that. Well, now your X, Y, and Z is now in trouble.
I agree. And it's a very key component and a critical role to have somebody who is competent in that position. I think we've all seen both sides of that, where we've had someone in that role that does very good and somebody who should not be in that role.
But you also have to have the well, I'll say you have to have the balls to say stop.
That's a good thing because this role supersedes everyone, including the
Yep.
IC. If they don't, if the safety doesn't like something, it's an all.
Yep, it is.
So it's the
And
magic
you have
e-stop.
to have that notion to say something don't smell right.
But once again, a lot riding on someone. Don't take this as a blow-off role. It is
No,
very serious.
it
and
isn't.
very important.
It's like I said, I've been in this role more than I care to, and I don't like it.
And here's the thing: it goes back to how much you probably don't like safety role. The more complex your site is, size, chemical, whatever processes you're running, the more complex it is, the more that's on the safety guy. More things more things that come into it.
Yeah, it is.
So it could be a very awful thing. But if you're a single product site for whatever, say a twist tie manufacturer, cool, good for you. Very limited hazards. Your safety guy might just have an easy day. Great. But if you're running something spicier, and it's a lot.
Then again, your safety guy might be also your ops guy and everything else.
Yes, right. Depending on the scale of the call. Right. He might absorb that and just okay.
All right, so gents.
Yes, sir.
I think we're at our time frame.
Ooh, for today, yes.
We may need to probably continue this on another episode. We have several roles that have not been addressed that probably need to get addressed. On that note, also, Stephen and Randy,
yes, sir.
I love your shirts.
Thank you.
However, there is this awesome shirt.
That is very pretty, man. I love it. What a great logo.
If you know, you know.
I do, friend.
I feel like it's missing a key component to it, but
well, it's a plug for another show. Hint, hint. If you know, you know.
Right.
All right. So I believe our next episode is going to be a continuation of ICS.
Yep.
That goes without saying.
Yep.
So Stephen, how can they reach out to us?
As always, can email us at hazmatharder@gmail.com or hazmatharder at the hazmat guys. Sorry, industrial strength at the hazmatguys.com.
There you go.
As well as just leaving a comment in whatever platform you are watching us on.
Yeah.
So Randy, what platforms are we on?
So I know I listen to our podcast. It sounds weird. We make it, but then I'll also listen back to what we do through iTunes. So I do that while I'm on a treadmill. It's a good way to not stare at a brick wall. So we're also on YouTube. So
which is where I listen to it.
You see our beautiful, beautiful faces on YouTube.
And we're now on Spotify.
I see two beautiful faces. I look at one ugly face, but I won't say which one that is, Steven.
But so iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, friends. That's the ways to catch us. Someone's
just jealous because someone can still grow hair.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one. Thanks, Randy. You're the best.
I can give you something for that, friend.
Until next time.
Hazmat harder.
Hazmat harder.